She was invisible to most, just the maid who scrubbed the floors and polished silver in a billionaire's mansion. But behind her quiet smile was a storm no one could see. Her only son, barely 12, was fighting for his life, and time was slipping away. When the hospital bill became impossible to bear, desperation drove her to an unthinkable choice: taking money that wasn't hers. But this wasn't just about survival. It was about dignity, prejudice, and the price of being seen. What happened next stunned the world. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Angela had worked in the billionaire's household for years. Every morning, she arrived before sunrise, wearing the same pressed uniform, greeting staff who barely acknowledged her presence. She had become part of the background, trusted to clean, never trusted to be equal. At home, though, she was everything. A single mother raising her son, David. She sacrificed every ounce of energy to keep him smiling. When David fell sick, it began as a cough. But within weeks, doctors delivered the shattering news. He needed urgent treatment. The cost was more than Angela could earn in a lifetime. She worked double shifts, borrowed from friends, and prayed every night. But nothing was enough. And so, each day she cleaned the billionaire's office, dusting stacks of money he barely noticed. Angela's heart grew heavier. She knew what she must never do, yet one moment of desperation would change everything. It was late evening when Angela saw it, an open briefcase, cash carelessly piled inside. The billionaire had been preparing for a trip, leaving behind what seemed like a fortune. Her hands trembled as she wiped the desk, her eyes locked on the money. Her son's face flashed before her, pale, weak, pleading for life. That night, she wrestled with guilt. But by morning, her decision was made. She took the money, just enough to cover David's treatment, and rushed it to the hospital. Relief washed over her as doctors admitted him, machines humming to keep him alive. For a moment, hope returned. But secrets never stay hidden. Within days, the billionaire noticed the missing funds. His staff whispered, eyes darting toward Angela. Rumors spread like wildfire. The maid had stolen. Security was called. Cameras were checked. When confronted, Angela stood frozen, her uniform clinging to her in sweat. She wanted to explain that her son's life hung in the balance. But all they saw was a black maid, accused of theft. To them, her voice was a lie before she even spoke. And when the billionaire demanded answers, the room fell silent. Angela's truth was about to be tested, and the cost of her survival would push her into the storm of prejudice she had endured her whole life. The billionaire's voice thundered, "How dare you steal from me?" Guards stood ready, waiting for her denial. Angela's knees weakened, but she refused to bow her head. Instead, she spoke, her words breaking years of silence. She told him about her son, the bills, the hopeless nights. For a moment, the room was still. Then came the laughter, not from the billionaire, but from his advisors, mocking her excuse. Rage burned in Angela's chest. She had risked everything to save her boy, only to be reduced to a stereotype, a thief, a liar, nothing more. The billionaire's eyes narrowed. Cameras clicked as the staff documented her disgrace. But then, something shifted. He ordered everyone out. Alone with Angela, he said words she never expected. Words that would change everything. The billionaire didn't press charges. Instead, he visited the hospital with Angela, seeing David for himself. The boy's fragile smile broke through his hardened exterior. Quietly, he paid for every treatment, not as a favor, but as an acknowledgement. He admitted he had overlooked her humanity, blinded by privilege and prejudice. Angela's act of desperation revealed a truth. Sometimes survival demands breaking rules that were never made for people experiencing poverty to win. Her story spread beyond those mansion walls, sparking debates on inequality, race, and dignity. She was no longer invisible. She was a mother who dared to fight for her son. And the question lingered long after. If survival is a crime, who among us is truly innocent? Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.